What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Making Podcasts Great Again. I am your tech stuff guy, Jay Nog, and we are here, of course, with the President of the United States, of Mar-a-Lago, of America, of all golf courses, Mr. Donald J. Trump. Mr. President, how are you today?
Tom, we're doing well. All things considered, the country's falling apart. We have an illegal FBI investigation going on. I want peace. I think you know this if you follow the show. You know that
Mm-hmm.
I'm very pro peace, but it feels like we're headed towards a real nasty fight, and it's sad because all I ever wanted was peace. And when you have an FBI, when you have an injustice department, when you have a corrupt, maybe the most corrupt administration any country's ever seen in the history of the world. When you have these things, you just sort of say, enough is enough. When do you stop taking the abuse? And when do you finally fight back with strong strength?
So you're going to start fighting back?
Oh, not me. I already got a
Oh,
deferment for
okay.
the fight coming up. Bone spurs, but I will have people fighting on my behalf very with great
Okay.
patriotism and also patriotic patriotism.
That's good. Did you have a nice weekend? Any special plans this past weekend? Playing some golf, just things to take your mind off of this. Let's call it a witch hunt.
It's yeah, that's a good idea. I would say it's a witch hunt. I think it's one of those things where this weekend I could barely get 36 holes of golf in. I was so sort of distracted because I care about the country. There's many people on Truth Social who are right. They don't think anybody's ever loved the country and cared for the country as much as I do, and I tend to agree with them. Nobody's ever cared for America more than me, and so what I see is sad. It's very sad what's happening in our country. And I just hope, I even pray tech stuff. I even said, and I don't do that too often,
Right. Only special occasions.
only on special occasions. Getting the HIV test back in the 80s, uh, finding out that Vlad had gotten rid of the Russian prostitutes before they could get the paternity test, and now for our country. So strong faith, strong patriotism, strong peace. Uh, so like I said, I only got in 36 holes of golf this week because I was so distracted. This weekend, excuse me, I got like 72 holes of golf in during the week. But I hope that things pick up, and I think they're going to pick up very soon.
How's your family been dealing with this? We haven't spoken about Dan Jr. or Ivanka. How have they been holding up uh, since this whole just, like I said before, just total witch hunt, total fake news, total just making up things to ruin your possible run at 2024. It's just a shame.
Well, Dan Jr. I'm actually impressed with. He's been very vocal. He's like we call him the little engine that could do coke, because he's very motivated. He's very strong in terms of his energy. Kim Gargoyle is doing strong media appearances because you see what Sleepy Joe did with the debt, with the college debt.
Yes,
He basically is
forgiving.
saying hardworking whites who didn't go to college, guess what? We're going to pay off some black loans. How about that?
I
And
don't
Black
know
Snake
if
Loan. That's what we're calling it. We're calling it Snake Loan. I see you putting down the title. Don't think you're slick tech stuff. And it's a disgusting thing because you have very hardworking people, and some of them aren't white. But obviously, I see you nodding in agreement. Most of the hardworking people are very white,
I don't know
and
if that's true, but I'll agree with you right now.
it's called science. And
Yes.
all of a sudden, Sleepy Joe shows up with Kamala Bear Harris and says we need to give blacks and maybe a few Latinos and maybe like one poor white person just so it's diverse. And we're going to give them billions of dollars each, by the way, each billions of dollars of loan forgiveness. Guess what? I loan forgive, but I loan don't forget. And it's a disgrace what's happening. It's basically racism, to be honest. It's basically a racist policy. The Biden Black Snake Loan Program is going to bankrupt our country and make white people feel like they don't get any help from the government, even though, yes, he's going to help out a couple of white people, but just to avoid racism charges. But we see it. We see that he's doing total racism. And so Don and Kim Gargoyle have been doing lots of coke and making strong media appearances. Ivanka is actually
She's been quiet, rather quiet.
but she's very depressed, to be honest. And I said, honey, we can go back to your surgeon if you want to, get an augmentation, because nothing makes a woman feel better than more men
augmentation?
stare. Well, then you get the men staring at you, and it's a very good
gotcha.
self-esteem boost. And she's on a book tour with Jared Kushner. He wrote a book at the failing New York Times called basically A Piece of Shit. They cut, one of the worst books of the year. And if I could read, I would read it, and I might disagree. But I think that's
When you get
hurting
the
Ivanka
audiobook of it.
because, well, then you got to hear Jared Kushner read it. And have you ever heard that guy's voice?
It may not be him reading it though. He may have like a guest reader. Sometimes
No,
it'll be
it's him reading it. It's him reading it.
okay.
I want to tell you about the time when I worked in the White House for my father-in-law. I don't fuck my wife very well, and she's way too hot for me. And my father-in-law is very powerful and strong, and I'm tall and skinny, and I went to Harvard. Imagine that for 2 weeks of audiobook.
Yeah, that would not be fun. What is this book about?
It's just about how he's tall and weak and worked in the White House, and it's very stupid. I hate to agree with the
Tall
failing
and
New
weak
York Times.
chapters.
Well, I hate to agree with the failing New York Times, but a broken cock is right twice a day.
It's true.
So
that is true. Now, Mr. President, we don't know what's going on, but allegedly the people are saying that you have these top secret documents that were stolen. And I'm wondering, the question is, will you be arrested for these documents? And if you are arrested for these documents, if you are, Mr. President, okay, and you had to go to jail, who would be the first person you befriend in jail? What type of person?
Andy Dufresne.
You would look for the Andy Dufresne. You'd ask around if Andy Dufresne is here.
Because you want to be friends with the guy that all the rapists want to rape. It's the opposite of being it's the opposite of being. It's like in the real world, you don't want to be the ugly girl out with all the hot chicks. Like, oh, I'm at the bar. I'm alone at the bar again, giving a hand job to the Mexican bar back at 4 a.m. You don't want to be that. But in prison, you want to be the one that nobody wants to have sex with. So if I find Andy Dufresne, look at this tall, weak accountant. Why don't you plow him, mothers? And I just sit there drinking my beer and, doing strong prison presidenting.
So you would actually touch alcohol if you had to go to prison? You said you would be drinking a beer.
O'Doul's.
Gotcha. And you would find a way to become the president of, I guess your cell block in prison. Is that what you would?
No, I would.
For?
I don't know. I would campaign for the entire prison, except I would have a strict no Muslims, a Muslim ban on my wing of the prison.
Why is that?
Because can you think of anything scarier? In the real world, a lot of the Muslims are Middle Eastern people. That's scary enough. But in prison, it's almost like they become superpowered. The Muslims become muscular African Americans. So it's like the one thing that the Muslims, the terrorist Muslims, don't have is the super strength and athletic ability. And then all of a sudden they get to prison and it like supercharges them. It's almost like the Hulk. They get mad and they commit crimes and they go to prison and they're like, well, now we're Muslim and we're African Americans and we're very strong and we'll beat the crap out of you with Islam and blackness. And it's a very scary thought. So we would have a strong Muslim ban.
Okay.
And
Now,
that's just, I mean, that's just science. There's going to be people, woke people is calling that racist. We don't listen to the woke people on this show. It's the one group we'll do cancel culture on. Even though we don't do cancel culture, we will cancel your woke culture so fast you'll be eating yogurt cultures.
Now, despite all this trouble that people are saying you're going to get into, the polls still say that you should be the 2024 nominee. Now, what do you think that says? Could be like, what does that say about our country? What does it say that the belief in you, how trustworthy you are, how people don't believe the government and think that the government lies? Like, what does it say about us?
I want to do something that I haven't done in a little while, tech stuff.
Yes.
Do you know what that is?
You're going to go off the record.
There you go. We're going off the podcast record.
All right. Let me press for. Okay. Stop. We're off the record right now.
My followers at this point, it's like trying to control a pit bull in heat with mental retardation. These people are, I would say, out of control is an understatement. I love the fact that the only thing that controls them is their love for me, but the truth is, if this country had treated me better, I would try to protect it, but it was so rude to me by stealing an election that if my supporters destroy the country, that's okay. But I will say this, and we're still off the record.
Of
They are
course.
a scary, stupid, Mountain Dew drinking, horrific pack of animals, the people who support me. And I wish it was like an acute way, but it's gotten to a point where if they didn't support me so strongly, I would probably invite all my supporters to a giant 50 million person rally and euthanize all of them. I think they're that dangerous and that worthless and that scummy. But anyway, let's get back on the record.
Now, I wanted to.
I didn't hear the but.
Okay, I'm sorry. We are back on the record.
Oh, good. Well, no. Well, to answer your question,
Yes.
I think it says that we have patriots. I think it says we have people who know what they're talking about and don't fall for the fake news. And I think it shows that they love their country and they know that I'm what's best for the country, regardless of what the fake news tells them. These are normal, honest, hardworking Americans who want the best for their country, and they know that I'm the best for their country.
That's what I thought you would say, Mr. President. I don't know if you read about this, but you have a certain favorite actress on a HBO show called Euphoria.
Well, you know what? I actually announced it on Truth Social over the weekend, which you probably didn't see because you're not on Truth Social.
I didn't see it.
Sydney Sweeney, who, I can tell you this, the highest compliment I can pay, the lovely Sydney Sweeney, by the way. I asked Ivanka if she would wear a Sydney Sweeney mask while she has sex with Jared Kushner so that I could film it. And that's a high compliment as a father and as a patriot to Sydney Sweeney. And you're going to tell me that she was at a party this weekend, right? Wasn't that on the gram?
She threw her mother a birthday party, and
isn't that,
there were
don't
lots
you like
of
to see those
MAGA
family
supporters
values?
there.
Don't you like that family values? Throwing her mother a party. She's using her money for good.
Hmm.
They were MAGA supporters. I hear her father's like Blue Lives Matter and her mom is MAGA.
Yes, there were MAGA hats there. Blue Lives Matter. I think it was a hat or a shirt. So, what are your
Imagine if
thoughts on her now after knowing this information?
well, I announced on Truth Social this weekend, and this is sort of a big news for the podcast people who aren't on Truth Social. Lauren Boebert. Oh, I have nothing but strong, uh, rapey affection for. She's been bumped out of the top list. Sydney Sweeney is now officially the front runner for Trump wife number 4. She's younger,
Wow.
she's even hotter. And Boebert, we love the fact that she's so strongly pro MAGA. We love that, of course. But it's a lot easier to be pro MAGA when you're Lauren Boebert than if you're Sydney Sweeney in Hollywood with radical leftists. And she's walking around with her tits out, her big teary eyes, crying on everybody's dick on Euphoria. And she's taking all that punishment, both in her puss and in her heart, more importantly, in her heart, for having strong patriotic family. I'm sure Hollywood hates it. I'm sure Hollywood hates it. But, if she's anything like her character on Euphoria, she's going to be in need for she's going to be practically desperate for strong male affection. And
For
that's
sure.
when I thrive, tech stuff. When I see a broken, sad woman with great breasts, I'm like one of those nature videos. You'd have the British guy going, "We see the Trump approaching the wounded female with augmented breasts, and he's providing a shoulder for her to lean on. And that shoulder is sliding down as her head falls right into the Trump's crotch. She has fallen for the Trump crotch trap again. And as you can see, they are now married with a prenuptial agreement, and he is pumping his powerful Trump seed into her for the contractually obligated one child." So that's how the documentary would go with me and Sydney Sweeney. It's called Nature, it's called Christians.
Now, Mr. President, Lindsey Graham, what are your thoughts on Lindsey Graham these days? I know sometimes you guys get along, sometimes not so much. What's the deal with him these days?
Well, he's tough. He's tough to pin down, according to his male escorts. But I think he's in my corner. But he's a politician. We never depended on him fully, but he's useful and he's resourceful, and we trust him to a certain extent. I mean, he's done some good things, so we appreciate that. Why do you ask?
Well, Lindsey Graham recently said in the interview that if you were prosecuted, there will be riots in the streets. Now, are you happy he made this comment? Are you annoyed? Or is that just common? Everyone should know that. Just
I mean,
common truth.
it's tech stuff. It's like, thank you for that great quote, tech stuff. If the country is stolen from patriots, will they be mad? Yes, I think they'll be mad. How about that? There, you can quote me on that. No, I think there'll be riots. I mean, my strong supporters, when the bodega, well, not they wouldn't go to a bodega. When the 7-Eleven runs out of Mountain Dew, they riot. So what do you think they'll do when they steal a country for a second time?
How extreme do you think the rioting would be? Do you think you're talking about like losing control over cities to that extreme?
I think somewhere between Independence Day and Game of Thrones. Like, imagine aliens blew up your city and did rape. And I say that with respect. I say that with respect to my supporters who are great patriots.
Well, let's hope it doesn't get to that. And I'm sure justice will come through and the
Well,
truth will come out.
Justice Kavanaugh will certainly come through for the rape portion.
Yes. How is Justice Kavanaugh? He's been quiet these days also.
He's drunk.
Yeah.
He's but he's good. He's a good guy. Great justice, but very drunk.
Now, Mr. President, when you were in the White House, what can you give us any secret information about aliens? Is there anything that you can
Uh,
tell us that you haven't told people? Is there, do we have pictures? Do we have actually aliens that we have captive? What is there any information you give us about aliens?
I can tell you that Kim Gargoyle is only 40% human.
And
So
she's 60% alien or 60% something else?
she's 50% alien and 10% my jizz.
Large percentage.
I can't tell
10%.
if you're laughing or crying.
Little both.
Getting emotional.
Uh,
It's emotional.
Very
It's
emotional.
just sometimes these episodes, when the country's just totally going to shit, you just say nasty things. And it's I apologize to our, well, I don't apologize, but if you're a Christian and offended, if excuse me, if you're a white and Christian and offended, I will try to do better for your sake, even though I do the best.
Now, the reason I asked you about aliens, President, is there's a new program in NASA called Artemis. Have you heard of this?
I have, of course I have. Have you heard of it?
Yes. Well, NASA, they were supposed to, it's a whole new program, and they called off the new moon rocket launch. I don't know why they're going back to the moon again. Um, what are your thoughts on going back to the moon again? Why do that? Unless it was a hoax the first time, of course.
Well, there's talk, to be honest, there's talk that it was a hoax, if we're
You
being
know?
honest. But I would say what you have to do is you have to look at it and say, China wants to control the moon. Russia, my great friend in Russia, wants to control the moon. And I respect that, but we have to be first. And I don't think we're going to be first under Sleepy Joe now, but I think we can be first uh, under a new president, possibly, who maybe gave us a little thing we call Space Force. I don't know if you remember this tech stuff, but it's probably the most important development in armed services in this country since the Marines were created.
How come Sleepy
So,
Joe doesn't talk about Space Force at all?
well, Sleepy Joe still thinks, that Star Trek with William Shatner is real. So I don't think he's very well equipped to talk about the complexities of space and physics. My uncle was a professor of physics at uh, MIT, which is, a good school, not as good as Idaho Militia Christian, but IMC, of course, is the top school in the country for MAGA. But no, he doesn't talk about Space Force because he's too busy talking about pigeons in the park.
Now they called off this moon rocket launch. I think they're going to go to Mars as well. When you become in power again, are you going to continue this Artemis, or do you think we should be doing something else with Space Force instead of going to the moon or going to Mars?
Well, I think what we should be trying to do is figure out what the hell happened to Pluto. Remember, it used to be a planet, and then they decided it wasn't a planet. It's almost like what they did to my election, the greatest political movement in the history of our country, and then they decided I wasn't president anymore. So I have great sympathy with Pluto because to me, Pluto is a planet and also a very nasty dog in Disney.
He's not nasty.
Well, unlike Goofy, he didn't seem to talk very much, which was rude. Goofy talked a hell of a lot. Gosh! Whereas Pluto just sat there like a dog. He sat there doing nothing like a dog. And I want to find out what the hell happened to Pluto. So before we go to Mars, we should probably take a ship out to Pluto and find out what the hell happened to Pluto.
So you comparing the disappearance of Pluto as a planet to the disappearance of your presidency?
Right, because it's both there. Pluto's still there. We just don't call it a planet. And that's what happened. We know I'm president, but we just don't acknowledge it. We say, nope, you lost. Despite being the greatest president of all time, you lost to a very old person who doesn't know what planet he's on. Maybe Sleepy Joe thinks he's on Pluto. Gosh!
We haven't heard from him in a while.
Right. I thought that Goofy might be lonely without Steven Tyler. They kind of have the same look, kind of like very floppy and loose kind of people. Goofy and Steven. What about them in a band?
That would be
Janie's got a gun. That was stupid.
funny though. Now, Mr. President, let's talk about some lighter things. MTV.
Okay, white people, finally.
MTV VMA Awards last night. I think took place in Brooklyn, and a lot of these artists I looked at, I have never heard of before. And you are down with hip hop. You have a lot of rapper friends. You have your own record label. So I want to know, I'm going to shoot some artists over to you. I want to know what you think of it, what you think of them winning this award. We'll go over a few. Video of the Year award. Lil Nas X, we've talked about him. He was nominated. But the winner for that was Taylor Swift. What are your thoughts on Taylor Swift? Video of the Year. I think she's won every single year since she started playing a guitar.
Oh, she's a beautiful, talented, tall blonde with great talent, country roots, but pop. I mean, sometimes I think she plays too political. You know, she was very nasty about get out the vote in Tennessee. We won anyway, so I forgave her. But she's a tall, beautiful blonde. What do you think? I think of her tech stuff.
I guess you like her. And she sings
she's
country music too, so.
a little country. She sort of betrayed the country for more pop, and she hangs out with gay blacks at award shows. So it's not she's not perfect, but she's I would give her some Trump in her tay.
Okay. Artist of the Year. Some of these I recognize: Lil Nas X, Lizzo, who we've spoken about before.
Oh, big fatty.
Jack Harlow, this new up and coming, these like the new Eminem, Harry Styles. I think we've talked about him before. Ed Sheeran, Drake, but the winner, Bad Bunny. Do you know who Bad Bunny is?
Oh, he's illegal. He's from the Puerto Rican part of Mexico, so we know he's bad news. And he's not Bad Bunny, he's Bad News Bears, is what he is. And what I will say about Bad Bunny, you know how many kids Latinos have? A lot of kids. Now imagine if a rabbit was a Latino rabbit. How many kids a Latino rabbit have? And that's the problem we have with Bad Bunny. I think Bad Bunny is going to have, he's going to be like Nick Cannon times 500. So Bad Bunny better put a bag on his bunny before he makes too many bad bunnies running around. Somewhere.
Okay.
How about that? Bars. Almost bars. Incomplete bars.
We've talked about this artist before, and she won Song of the Year. Billie Eilish. She won Song of the Year for Happier Than Ever.
Let me tell you something.
Yes.
That Happier Than Ever song, I enjoy the crap out of it. And there's something, people don't know this about me, but I'm going to share this with you, Tech Stuff.
Let's hear it.
I'm not normally a goth guy. Normally I'm like, put on a dress, brighten the fuck up, stop being a droopy-eyed, miserable Marilyn Manson with tits. Okay, that's normally how I treat goth women. When I see this Billie Eilish with her soft voice and her big eyes and her even bigger breasts that she tries to hide, that's how you know they're big. She'll wear like a parachute, and you're still like, I think I can see what's going on, even though you're wearing big baggy clothes, Missy. I support Billie Eilish 100%. And I know she's like a vegan and she's like homeschooled. I like the homeschooling part. But I also like the fact that she co-writes songs with her brother. You know, she's talking about like sex and stuff, and she's co-writing with her brother, and that makes me think that maybe she's open-minded into exploring at least sexual talk with a family member, and maybe, we'll see what happens. But uh, Ivanka's a big fan of Billie Eilish, so if things develop between me and Ivanka, I want to thank Billie Eilish for helping expand our father-daughter relationship. But Billie Eilish is a great talent with a great rack, and and you know very
Yeah.
young. So there's a lot of time. There's a lot of room for potential there. Maybe wife number five if she gets over her droopy goth phase.
I want to go over one, two, three more categories with you. And best new artist. I have never heard of any of these artists. The winner was Dove Cameron, but Baby Keem, Gale, Lotto, Manskin or Mainskin, and 17. Have you heard of any of these artists?
No, but I hope they all die. I hate every single one of their names, and by extension, I hate all of them as people.
I'm going to agree with you on this 100%.
And by the way, Billie Eilish, I'm going to talk to her about getting her theme. Remember her song "Bad Guy"?
Yes, I do.
Wouldn't that be a great song for me to come out to at rallies? Do 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 do. Boom,
I don't know if
boom,
she'll grant you
boom,
permission
boom,
though.
boom, boom. Oh, come on,
Isn't
shut
she
up.
is she a vegan and she probably leans very left, I'm assuming.
I think that's only because her left boob is bigger.
That could be a problem.
That's a lot of Billie Eilish talk. I know she's legal, but we don't want to get the woke left coming after our great patriotic show. We
What
apologize to Billie Eilish, and we respect you as an artist, and we will not say nasty things about your great rack anymore. Thank you.
um let's go over this one here. Best hip hop. I know you spit bars all the time. What do you think about the winner? It was Nicki Minaj featuring Little Baby. Do we have a problem? What do you think? It was up against Eminem and Snoop Dogg, Future and Drake, Kendrick Lamar, Lotto, and Pusha T. But Nicki Minaj with Little Baby won.
I prefer Da Baby. I don't like Lil Baby. I like Da Baby. Da
Mhm.
Baby. He did this song with. He's done some nice songs, and he's also said homophobic things, which I respect. And he did a Dua Lipa song. So I would have voted for Da Baby, but he wasn't nominated. I would have written him in. I think they stole the election from Da Baby, and I don't like Eminem. I will never vote for a white rapper because I think it's a disgrace to waste your white skin in rap when you could be doing business or politics or really anything, to be honest, getting away with crimes. You could do anything with white skin. So I think he's stealing something from the blacks. And that's called being, that's almost woke on my part. How about that? So what I would say is Future. I think is Future one of the ones with too many kids? I think he has a lot of kids
I
also.
think he does.
So I don't like that. Uh, Nicki Minaj. I kind of like Nicki Minaj. She's not my favorite, but I kind of like her because she's got a big fake butt, huge fake tits. She even was wearing fake contacts last night. So she was even like doing fake eyes, which I'd never thought of before. So I like her commitment to surgery. She's, I think, married to a person who's a convicted sexual assault person, so I respect that immensely. Yeah, that sort of opens up a Nicki Minaj as wife number six after Billie Eilish and Sydney Sweeney. So it wouldn't
So
be
you
my
agree with the
first
winner?
choice. Well, I don't agree with the winner, but I don't disagree with the winner.
Okay. Now, last
Winner,
one.
winner, 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 one half of a chicken dinner.
Now, album of the year. That's the big award. Album of the year. I'm gonna see. I'm gonna name. I'm gonna tell you which the artists, and you tell me who won. Adele,
Oh boy.
Bad Bunny, Billie Eilish, Drake, or Harry Styles.
Oh, oh, I think I know who won this. I apologize. No, I don't know who won it. Was it? Oh God, was it Harry Styles?
It was, and he has the worst name for his album, Harry's House.
Okay. Why doesn't he go put on a dress and fuck a 45-year-old woman? Okay. Why doesn't he go do that since he's so content to waste his youth?
Uh,
Because he should have been in wrong direction, not one direction.
oh man, awful. Mr. President, we have one last story, and then I'm going to let
Oh
you go.
boy.
I know you're
A
a
lot of
very,
stories.
very busy man. Before we get to it, everyone who is not on it, get on it. The Patreon. That's right. Patreon.com/MPGA. We have live episodes every single month, movie reviews, special guests, bonus episodes, the great Fred Trump traditions. You're missing out over 100 hours of bonus content. So check it out now, patreon.com/MPGA, and find a level that's good for you. Now, Mr. President, U.S. Open. I know you are big into tennis, big into golf. The U.S. Open begins tonight. Do you have predictions? I know it's Serena Williams' last U.S. Open. Do you have predictions for the men's and women's winners?
What I do like is I like Daniil Medvedev, the Russian, who I think won it last year or 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I
Mhm.
like Medvedev. I met him at a brothel in Russia. Really talented guy. Uh, and for the women, uh, who the hell cares? Who the hell cares? Nobody cares. Bye bye.
All right. Well, you heard it here. Those are your predictions. Mr. President, thank you so much once again in these crazy times of just people going after you for inaccurate information. Once again, you've beaten every single time with the lawsuits, the harassment. You've beat it every single time, and we'll beat this one too. And join up on the Patreon, everyone. Patreon.com/MPGA. Join whatever level is good for you. Like I said before, over 100 hours of bonus content. And Mr. President, the floor is yours.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the greatest show. Hey guys, it's JL. Thank you for listening as always. It's been quite the month. I think we really packed in a lot of good shit this month. So be sure to check out the Patreon. And if you've got extra dough on you and you don't get enough comedy content, join my Patreon. Just go to my website, jlcomedy.com. You can find links to my other podcast and my other Patreon. As far as gigs coming up, nothing big. Not till October. I'm in York, Pennsylvania, October 14th. Ann Arbor, Michigan, November 10th, 11th, and 12th. And hopefully more stuff. And my special is nowhere to be found. So I'm back into. I had some optimism for a month, and it looks good. And now it's back to, is this thing going to come out before my second special? Like, because I'm actually in the process of possibly recording something around January because of the writing I've been doing, and we're getting close to a point where my second special or might be my first special, which is
You should
weird.
call it my second first special.
Yeah, exactly. So thank you for being fans. Tell a friend. If you're still listening, you know, tell a friend, share an episode with a friend. You don't have to tweet about it if you like want to keep your timeline clean or you're embarrassed that you like a guilty pleasure, but go tell a friend. You can't be the only Trump hating, comedy loving friend in your circle. So get a friend or a family member to try the show. If this wasn't the episode, pick out a favorite and get them hooked on it. It costs nothing and we really appreciate it. So thank you for listening and God help us all.